Here, there is no beginning, only an ending waiting in preparation. Every movement is a step closer to death. One side carries venom, enough to end it in a single moment. The other survives by evading fate. And in the shadows of this arena, only one is permitted to lead. Mongoose versus cobra, a battle of speed and venom. Mid-morning on the African savanna, as the sun begins to pour down on the parched earth, life does not stop. It simply shifts to a different tempo. There is no shade for refuge, no place to hide completely. This is a land where every creature must expose itself to the sun and to one another. From a small burrow beneath a tree, a small head emerges. Dark, beady eyes scan the surroundings quickly. This is not curiosity, it is a survival habit repeated every day. The daytime savanna belongs to those who dare to venture out when the sun is harshest. And among them, there are encounters that neither side planned for. The Egyptian mongoose, a small carnivore widely known for a skill few others on the savanna can match, dealing with venomous snakes. Measuring about 50 centimeters long and any mammal of its size. The mongoose is equipped by evolution. Modified acetylcholine receptors make the cobra's neurotoxic venom act significantly slower on its body. But resistance to venom does not mean total immunity. A large enough dose or a bite in the right location can still be fatal. Not far away, a long, glossy object moves slowly through the grass. It makes no sound. Only a slight ripple on the blades of grass serves as evidence. The mongoose stops. Its nose points forward, the distinct scent of a large reptile, unmistakable for anything else on this savanna. To understand the gravity of the coming confrontation, one must look at the creature slithering toward the mongoose, one of the most dangerous and common venomous snakes of the Dark Continent. The Egyptian cobra, up to 2 meters long, capable of accurately spitting venom into an opponent's eyes from over 2 meters away. Each bite injects enough venom to take down a full-grown human. Beyond its toxicity, its main advantage is strike speed. A strike is completed in under a quarter of a second, exceeding the reflex time of many equivalent predators. However, as the opponent closes in, the strike's effectiveness decreases. Distance becomes the decisive variable governing the probability of success for both sides. The two detect each other at less than 3 meters. The mongoose lowers its body and bristles its neck fur, while the snake spreads its hood and coils its body into an S shape. Both are ready for war. This is a language both species understand without needing to learn. Every posture is a message. I am not retreating. and I am readier than you think. Both hold their positions, neither advances. This is not hesitation, it is calculation. In this battle, the one who strikes first is not necessarily the one with the advantage. The snake sways its head slowly, tracking every movement of the mongoose. This is a psychological tactic to distract the opponent, creating a moment of diverted attention to strike. The mongoose is not deceived. It moves forward half a step, then retreats. Forward, then back. Not out of fear, but to read the snake's reaction time. The snake lunges with a fast and precise strike, but misses. The mongoose evades in a split second. No one is hurt, but information has been gathered by both sides. The mongoose counterattacks immediately, without hesitation, lunging straight for the snake's neck, a strike taking less than a quarter of a second, which the mongoose has practiced since it was young. The snake breaks free and coils back instantly. Both return to their original positions. The tempo spikes. It is no longer a probe. The battle has truly begun. The snake lunges, using its strength to bite quickly toward the mongoose. The mongoose closes its eyes and turns its face back, evading perfectly. The thick facial fur acts as a second barrier. The venom clings to the surface. The snake used one of its most effective weapons and failed. The mongoose accelerates. No more stepping back and forth. This time, it is a continuous assault, forcing the snake to strike repeatedly. Every strike from the snake is an opening the mongoose is waiting for. The snake gradually loses the initiative, shifting to a coiled, defensive posture. This stance limits attack angles, but simultaneously reduces its ability to control distance. The mongoose focuses on the back of the head, the area controlling the nervous system. A precise bite here can quickly neutralize all resistance. The snake thrashes violently, trying to escape the encirclement. Its long body sweeps across, pushing the mongoose away. The mongoose is tossed back, but does not fall. All four paws hit the ground instantly. This is the moment many other predators would stop, but not the mongoose. It returns with the same speed, maintaining pressure, demonstrating a resilient strategy selected by nature. The snake strikes one last time, more accurately than before. Fangs graze the mongoose's shoulder, but the thick fur and skin block part of it. The amount of venom injected is not enough to change the outcome. The moment the snake retracts its jaws after that bite is the final opening. The mongoose does not miss. Its jaws lock onto the back of the snake's head, the target it aimed for from the start. The snake coils around the mongoose, trying to use constricting force, but the mongoose does not let go. The bite force increases steadily. This is the decisive phase. The first to lose control will lose everything. The snake's movements slow down, not from exhaustion, but because neurological damage begins to spread from the bite site. The mongoose holds its position for nearly 40 more seconds. No rush. Waiting until movement completely stops. It is extremely cautious. When the snake is entirely motionless, the mongoose still bites down hard. Nothing changes. The battle ends in a way this species has repeated thousands of times before. The entire event took under 15 minutes, but every second reflects accumulated evolutionary data. no factor depended on mere luck. The mongoose drags the snake back to its burrow, a typical behavior for the species. No victory celebration, just a necessary meal after energy has been spent. In the ecosystem, the mongoose plays the role of a natural population control for venomous snakes. No other predator in this area performs that function. But the mongoose also faces increasing pressure, shrinking habitats, dwindling water sources, and competition with larger predators. The cobra faces similar trends. Declines in many areas are mainly due to environmental changes, exceeding the short-term adaptive capacity of both species. This raises a larger question. When one of the two disappears, how will the rest of the ecosystem adjust? There is no simple answer. Today's battle is a very small part of a much larger picture. Every species in this system depends on the existence of others. The mongoose carries the snake to its burrow. There is no reason to linger. The day is still long, and the savanna sun waits for no one. The savanna keeps no memory of what happens upon it. The wind erases traces. The sun dries what remains, and the cycle continues the way it has always operated. These two species have coexisted on this continent for millions of years, not because of peace, but because of balance. One side is dangerous enough to force the other to evolve faster. The mongoose will return to its burrow before dark. Another cobra will emerge when the temperature drops. This loop has no beginning and no end. Of all the lessons nature can teach, perhaps the simplest is also the most difficult to grasp. No species exists alone, not even the best predator. And as the first darkness touches the horizon, the savanna does not ask who won or lost today. It only prepares for what will happen tomorrow. An afternoon on the Botswana savanna, a honey badger is digging and foraging for food near a dry riverbed. Suddenly, two leopards emerge from nearby bushes. In viral videos online, this is when the honey badger would turn around to attack the leopards, fight bravely, and force them to retreat. But reality is completely different. The honey badger doesn't attack. Instead, it immediately runs toward the nearest rocky den at maximum speed. This isn't cowardice. This is intelligent survival. This is the story of the real honey badger. Not the invincible super warrior the internet portrays, but an escape artist, a survival specialist. Popular belief suggests honey badgers win every fight. Online videos show them chasing lions, attacking leopards, and defeating anyone who dares challenge them. But field research over 20 years in the Kalahari shows honey badgers avoid conflict whenever possible. They only fight when there's no other choice. When facing lions, honey badgers have three options: flee, hide in a burrow, or counterattack. The first two options account for 80% of cases. Why? Because honey badgers only weigh 10 kilograms. Lions weigh 200 kilograms. This isn't a fair fight. Victory is impossible. Even when honey badgers attack ferociously, roaring and biting, this isn't to win. This is to create an escape opportunity, making the opponent hesitate for a few seconds, enough to get away. The honey badger's main tactic is to make itself hard to eat, not to defeat the enemy. Thick skin, fierce growling, biting the opponent's face to cause pain. The goal isn't to make the lion flee. The goal is to make the lion think killing the honey badger costs more effort than the value gained. This is cost-benefit calculation. And this strategy often works, not because the honey badger is stronger, but because the lion or leopard doesn't want to get injured over such small prey. But it's not always lucky. GPS research tracking honey badgers over 5 years shows 60% of individuals have scars from attacks. Some have broken legs, torn ears, or are blind in one eye, showing these aren't signs of victory, but marks of surviving confrontations. Three tracked individuals died within 5 years. One killed by a lion, one killed by a leopard, one attacked by a pack of hyenas. Not invincible. Viral videos online only show the times honey badgers successfully escape. No one films the times they fail, lying dead in the bushes. Even with venomous snakes, honey badgers don't always win. Research in Okavango recorded honey badgers bitten by cobras, lying unconscious and being eaten alive by vultures. The unconscious period from 2 to 5 hours is an extremely dangerous phase, as they cannot defend or flee, allowing any predator to finish them off. So why do honey badgers have a reputation for fearlessness? Because we remember the times they survive, not the times they die. This is perception bias. The truth is, honey badgers survive by knowing when to fight and when to run. They fight fiercely when cornered, but prioritize escape over victory. Climbing ability is an important escape weapon. When chased, honey badgers can climb trees quickly. Lions can't climb. Neither can hyenas. Burrowing ability also saves their lives many times. Honey badgers can dig 1 meter deep in 15 minutes. They crawl in and block the entrance with dirt, waiting for the opponent to leave. Surviving to fight another day is always more beneficial than dying a hero. And nature only selects for survival ability, not rewarding courage. The average lifespan of 7 to 8 years for honey badgers is much lower than many other carnivores, clearly reflecting that their risky lifestyle always comes with consequences. Compared to leopards living 12 years, lions 14 years. Honey badgers die much earlier, mainly due to accumulated wounds from confrontations and infections. Mortality research shows 30% of honey badgers die from larger carnivores, 20% die from venom, 50% die from infection and starvation. Honey badgers are fearless, but fearlessness doesn't equal invincibility. as they accept danger largely because of food-scarce environments. To this day, honey badgers still exist in many areas of Africa, but conflicts with humans are increasing as they steal chickens and dig burrows near homes. Many people kill honey badgers thinking they're dangerous. But the truth is, honey badgers avoid humans when possible. They only attack when cornered. Honey badgers teach the important lesson that survival isn't about winning every battle, but knowing when to fight and when to retreat. Viral videos may make them look like superheroes, but in the real world, honey badgers are wise survivors, not undefeated warriors. And perhaps that's what's most admirable, not superior strength, but the ability to keep living in a world full of creatures 20 times stronger. The Great Serengeti Plains, one of the largest wild ecosystems in Africa. In 2026, this place is facing unprecedented challenges. Average temperatures have risen 2 degrees Celsius in the past decade. The dry season lasts longer. Water holes are increasingly scarce. Life here is changing. This is home to over 3 million large animals, antelope, zebras, buffalo. But it's also the battlefield of 2 arch-enemies. Lions and hyenas. For over 2 million years, they have shared the same land. But in 2026, old rules are being rewritten. Panthera leo, lions, king of beasts. An adult male lion weighs up to 190 kg. Golden coat, thick mane. In the past, strength was everything. A pride of lions could control territory of 100 square kilometers. They were apex predators. But climate is changing everything. Temperatures of 45 degrees Celsius during the day. Lions are large, warm-blooded animals. They need tremendous energy to cool their bodies. Their solution is to lie still, 20 hours each day, just to avoid the heat. But this has a price. Food is becoming scarce. Large prides of 15-20 individuals are no longer effective. Too many mouths to feed and too little prey. The solution is to split up. Small groups of 2 to 3 individuals break away. Easier to find food, but also more vulnerable. The numerical advantage disappears. When facing enemies, lions are no longer the overwhelming force. Power is shifting. Night is the only opportunity. When temperatures drop to 25 degrees Celsius, only then can lions mobilize their full energy. They become absolute night hunters. Night vision 6 times better than humans. This is their time. But night is also the time of their rivals, and those rivals are stronger than ever. Crocuta, spotted hyenas. nearly 3 times smaller than lions. But what they lack in size, they compensate with intelligence. Over millions of years of evolution, hyenas have become survival experts. In 2026, these skills matter more than ever. First strength, unbeatable digestive system. Jaws with bite force, stronger than lions. Strong enough to crush large bones. Stomach acid pH 1, lowest among mammals. They can digest bones, skin, even horns. When lions only eat lean meat and leave the rest, hyenas return. They eat everything. Nothing is wasted. This is a huge advantage when food is scarce. Second strength, endurance. Hyenas can travel 40 kilometers each day, less energy intensive than lions. When water holes are far apart, lions must give up. But hyenas continue. They expand territory into lands where lions cannot survive. Third strength, social organization. A hyena clan can have up to 80 members with clear hierarchy. Females lead the entire clan. This is a matriarchal society. Females are stronger than males. With large numbers, hyenas can do what was previously unimaginable: directly confront lions. Hyenas are not just scavengers. 70% of their food comes from hunting. They are true hunters. Their tactic is endurance, pursuing prey at 60 km/h continuously until the prey is exhausted. When one weakens, the entire clan concentrates. Tight coordination. 5 to 10 minutes later, everything ends. Highly efficient. But in the most dangerous moments, prey is not the worry, but rather those who come to steal the spoils. Lions hear the sounds. They know hyenas just made a kill, and they come to claim it. This is robbery. In the past, hyenas always lost, fled as soon as they saw lions. But in 2026, this instinct is changing. Only one male lion, but 15 hyenas. The power ratio has reversed. Hyenas don't retreat. Hyenas advance, surround, growl. They know the lion is weak from the daytime heat. This is the opportunity. The lion roars, tries to threaten, but it's ineffective. Numbers are decisive. Finally, the lion must step back. Hyenas claim victory. They return to the prey, eat quickly. Everything disappears in 15 minutes. The lion is hungry. It must continue hunting, but energy is depleted. Tonight, it may have nothing to eat. This story repeats every day across Serengeti. Power is changing hands, slowly but surely. But the biggest battle is not for food, but for water, the source of life for all species. The 2026 dry season lasts 8 months. Within a 50-kilometer radius, only one waterhole remains. All animals must come here. Afternoon. Temperature 42 degrees Celsius. A pride of lions approaches. They need water, but they are not the first visitors. A hyena clan has been there since morning. They control the waterhole. This is their territory now. Lions stop. 20 meters away. Assess the situation. Only 3 male lions. But they need water as they haven't drunk for many days. A male lion advances, roars loudly, tries to create dominance. Hyenas stand up, unafraid. They roar back. Tension escalates. Lions move closer. Hyenas begin moving, surrounding the lions. 3 minutes of standoff. No one attacks, just growling and threatening. This is psychological warfare. Whoever is weaker will retreat. Finally, lions decide. They charge toward the waterhole. Quick, drink hastily, and retreat before hyenas react. Hyenas give chase, but don't attack. They just want to assert power. Lions leave. Enough water to survive another day. Today's battle ends. No blood, no casualties, but the message is clear. Hyenas are taking control. This is not an isolated case. Across East Africa, researchers are recording similar phenomena. Hyenas are expanding their influence. Hyenas are demonstrating a skill lions don't have, adapting to humans. They learn to survive in a changing world. Human water pumps become new destinations. Hyenas know where there's water. They come late at night, when no one's watching. They even learn to forage from human waste. Behavior no one saw 10 years ago. This is a sign of superior intelligence. Lions cannot do this. Their proud nature won't allow it. They are kings, cannot lower themselves. But pride is becoming a burden. In the new world, flexibility matters more than strength. Adaptation matters more than tradition. The 2026 data shows hyena populations increased 12% in 5 years, while lions decreased 8%. The trend is very clear. Serengeti is witnessing a historic change. not through war or bloodshed. Lions remain symbols: beauty, strength, and dignity. But these values are no longer enough to ensure survival. Hyenas represent a different story: resilience, pragmatism, and the ability to survive in adversity. In a warming world, the strongest may not win, but the best adapted will survive. In 2026, climate change is not just statistics, but daily reality. Each degree of temperature increase rewrites the rules of survival. Lions and hyenas, two arch enemies. Their story is the story of the entire planet. Adapt or disappear. There is no other choice. The Masai Mara grasslands at dawn, at the edge of the plains, where farmland meets wilderness. A female cheetah lies vigilantly. This is Nira, and her story is not easy. Nearby, two small cheetahs are playing in the tall grass. This is all that remains of the litter of 6 that Nira gave birth to 3 months ago. The other 4 are dead, 1 killed by hyenas, 2 attacked by lions, 1 snatched by an eagle while Nira was hunting. This isn't an exception. This is the reality of cheetahs. This is a story of survival at the edge, about a lone mother raising cubs in a world that has shrunk 90%, racing against time. Cheetahs are completely different from leopards. Solid black spots instead of rosettes, non-retractable claws like cleats, and a long tail like a balance beam. Everything designed for one purpose: speed. From 0 to 70 kilometers per hour in just 2 seconds. Maximum can reach 110 kilometers per hour. Therefore, the body weighs only 50 kilograms, not strong enough to climb trees or fight larger carnivores. Cheetahs are the weakest among large predators. Nira knows this better than anyone. Every day she must move her 2 cubs to new hiding places. Lions and hyenas are always lurking, searching for cheetah cubs to kill. When she needs to call her cubs, Nira emits a special bird-like call. This call doesn't attract the attention of other predators, but the cubs can still hear clearly. But the biggest challenge isn't protecting the cubs, it's feeding them. Nira must hunt every day, each hunt lasting an average of only 20 seconds before she's exhausted. If she fails 3 or 4 times in a row, Nira and her cubs will starve. And starvation means weaker, slower, easier to attack. And this is the death spiral. This morning, Nira spots a young gazelle antelope grazing 300 meters away. Perfect prey, small, weak, separated from the herd. She moves meter by meter. Her tawny coat with black spots blends completely into the dry grass. Distance remaining, 100 meters. 50 meters, 20 meters, tail tense, hind leg muscles coiled to maximum. The moment has come. Nira launches like an arrow. 2 seconds to reach 70 kilometers per hour. The antelope detects her, but it's too late. 12 seconds later, Neera catches up, using her claws to trip the prey's hind legs. The antelope tumbles. Neera immediately bites the neck, suffocating the windpipe. The entire hunt lasts 17 seconds. But Neera is panting as if she just ran a marathon. She needs 15 minutes to recover, but there's no time. The smell of blood spreads. Hyenas will arrive in 5 to 10 minutes. Neera calls her cubs to eat quickly. The 2 little ones eat hurriedly. Neera doesn't eat, only watches the surroundings. The mother always eats last. If there's food left, this is the survival law of cheetahs. But today is unlucky. 7 minutes later, a pack of hyenas appears. Neera immediately calls her cubs to retreat. Can't fight. Can only run. The meal is lost. This is the reality of cheetahs. 50% of kills are stolen by lions, hyenas, or vultures. Catching prey doesn't guarantee getting to eat. But Neera doesn't give up. That afternoon, she hunts successfully again. This time, she finds thick bushes to eat safely. The cubs get full bellies. Today is a good day. Months pass. The 2 cubs grow gradually, from 5 kilograms to 20 kilograms. Neera begins teaching them to hunt. First lesson, observation. Neera lets the cubs watch from a distance when she hunts. They learn how to choose prey, how to approach undetected, how to calculate distance. Second lesson, practice. When the cub is 10 months old, Neera catches a rabbit but doesn't kill it. She lets the cub practice the technique of tripping and neck biting. The first time, the cub fails, the rabbit escapes. But Neera is patient, lets the cub try again. After 3 attempts, one of the 2 cubs succeeds. Joy spreads through the small family. But when the cubs are 14 months old, Neera must chase them away. Not because she doesn't love them, but because instinct protects them from adult males. The 2 siblings must now be independent, too early compared to nature. But the shrinking environment doesn't allow otherwise. They're still immature, but must face the adult world. The first week, they fail at hunting continuously, hungry and afraid. But then they learn something important: cooperation. One chases, one ambushes. Finally, they catch their first prey. Neera, somewhere not far away, hears the joyful calls of her cubs. She doesn't approach, but knows they're still alive. That's all a cheetah mother can hope for. Currently, only about 7,000 cheetahs remain in the wild, down from 100,000 individuals at the beginning of the 20th century. Every survivor is a miracle. Lifespan decreased from 15 years to only 8 years. Living space shrunk 90%. Without immediate action, the planet's fastest animal will only exist in legend. Neera and her cubs are living proof of resilient vitality. Every day they fight. Every day they survive. Their story is the story of the entire species, racing against time. The African savanna spreads beneath the vast sky, land of giants, where strength is usually measured in tons. But strength in nature isn't only measured by size. There's another law, more subtle. It's the ratio between strength and body weight. When lowering vision to the arid grass carpets, where tiny creatures possess strength far beyond any ordinary comparison. This is the story about strength in nature. Not about the largest, but about creatures that found ways to maximize every gram of their body. On a fresh buffalo dung pile, a small creature is working. Dung beetle, Scarabaeus sacer, only 3 centimeters long and weighing 2 grams. The dung beetle is doing something seemingly impossible. They're shaping and rolling a dung ball weighing 200 grams, 100 times their body weight. But this isn't the limit yet. In scientific experiments, dung beetles have pulled objects weighing 1,141 times their body weight. To visualize, this equals a person weighing 70 kilograms lifting 80 tons, nearly equal to a modern tank. The secret lies in body structure. Dung beetles have hard exoskeletons made from chitin. Muscles inside attach directly to the shell, creating an extremely efficient lever system. Not far away, a long line moves on the ground. Leafcutter ants, Adacephalotes, each individual weighing only a few milligrams, but carrying leaf pieces many times larger than their body. Leafcutter ants can carry objects 50 times their body weight, moving vertically and gripping firmly on all surfaces, even smooth ceilings. The ant's secret lies in special neck muscles. This muscle occupies nearly half the body mass and can withstand tremendous pressure without injury. The reason small creatures are disproportionately strong is due to physical laws. When size decreases, surface area decreases slower than volume and mass. This helps small muscles have a large contact area ratio relative to the mass-needing movement, creating advantages no giant creature can achieve. But when we talk about absolute strength, the rules change completely. Near the riverbank, a giant creature steps out from acacia bushes. African elephant, Loxodonta africana. Adult males can weigh up to 6 tons. This is the largest land animal still existing on the planet. The elephant trunk is nature's most versatile tool. Made from over 40,000 separate muscle bundles, no bones, completely muscle and tendon. The trunk alone can lift objects weighing 350 kilograms, while their whole body can pull and push masses up to 6,000 kilograms. In exchange for enormous strength, elephants must consume nearly 150 kilograms of food daily and spend about 18 hours continuously just eating. Not far away, white rhinoceros Ceratotherium simum appears. Males weighing over 2 tons, possessing horns up to 1.5 meters long, full of power. Thanks to extremely developed neck muscles, rhinos can lift and fling objects weighing over 1 ton, turning the horn into a terrifying attack weapon. But there's one species whose strength isn't measured by lifting ability. It's measured by pressure. In murky river water, a pair of eyes looks up. Up to 6 meters long, has existed through 200 million years of evolution. Nearly unchanged, proof of perfect design. Their weapon is the jaw. Nile crocodile bite force reaches 5,000 psi, world's strongest, far exceeding human bite force. When attacking, crocodile jaw-closing muscles contract with tremendous strength, enough to crush buffalo bones or hold tight until drowning. Ironically, crocodile jaw-opening muscles are very weak, to the extent an adult human can hold their mouth shut with bare hands. Evolution only invested energy in closing jaws, not opening them, showing natural strength always optimizes according to survival objectives. Every strength has its own price. Elephants need to eat large quantities. Crocodiles lie motionless, conserving energy. Tiny dung beetles get crushed. Each species found its own position in the ecosystem, from dung beetles recycling waste, ants building complex nests, to elephants opening paths, crocodiles controlling fish populations. In 2026, these species face harsh challenges from climate change, habitat loss, and illegal hunting. Facing that reality, conservation efforts are being intensified with expanded reserves and tightened laws when people realize limits. Strength doesn't lie in conquering nature, but in understanding and respect when each species, large or small, all have irreplaceable roles. East African savanna. Dawn has not yet broken. A new day begins like any other. But in this world, no day is truly like another. This is a land where every species is a link in the chain. Today's hunter can be tomorrow's prey. That order is not fixed. It changes by the hour, by each decision. And among all those species, there's one often underestimated, not the largest, not the fastest, but the one with the most complex social organization. This is the story of encounters, of losses, and of what happens after, when the hunter becomes the hunted. Baboons. The largest primate in southern Africa, adult males weigh 25 to 45 kilograms. Canines up to 5 centimeters long, longer than lion canines, proportionate to body size. Baboon troops can reach 200 individuals. Within the troop, there's clear hierarchy. Large males protect the outer ring. Females and young stay at the center. They're omnivorous, from fruits and roots to insects and small reptiles, even newborn antelope when opportunity arises. This flexibility helps them survive many challenges. But in their habitat, every foraging day carries risk. Tall trees, open grassland, riverbanks, each terrain has its own predators. Morning. The troop spreads out foraging near sparse acacia woodland. A young male, about 3 years old, separates from the group, chasing prey by instinct. Not far away, a leopard has spotted the young baboon. the most perfect hunter in Africa in terms of stealth and terrain versatility. Leopards don't move, make no sound. They can lie motionless for hours, waiting for prey to come within striking range. The young male runs through the ambushed predator's line of sight. He doesn't know death is right beside him, about to claim his life. A leap erupts. At maximum speed, the leopard allows no mistakes. It quickly seizes the young male. The baboon can't react. That moment ends faster than any description can convey. This is nature's truth, not cruelty. But the baboon troop isn't far. And in baboon troops, every call carries information. The alarm call, leopard attacking. Within seconds, the entire troop's behavior transforms completely. No longer individuals foraging separately. All move in one direction. One objective. The leopard has a choice. Climb the tree with prey or abandon it and escape. But the troop arrives too fast. Large males weighing 40 kilograms, 5-centimeter canines, and most important of all, they come together. This is no longer individual confrontation. The leopard decides in an instant, abandons the kill and flees. This is the right choice. Being isolated by a baboon troop is extremely dangerous. The troop doesn't pursue. They understand it's futile. Instead, the group quickly restores order and minimizes loss. Days later, another threat, another species, lions. A pride of 4 lionesses moves into the area where the troop is foraging on a quiet morning. The response to lions is completely different from the response to leopards. Leopards are threats from above. Lions are threats on the ground. From above, the troop observes. They call loudly so the lions know they've been detected. In the hunting world, losing the element of surprise means losing the greatest advantage. The lion pride passes without stopping. To lions, baboons and trees aren't priority targets, but young ones on the ground are different. One lioness separates from the pride, lying hidden in tall grass near where the troop gathers to drink. She's been observing, and she's waiting for a young one to stray. A young baboon runs farther than the others. The lioness charges. Faster than any reaction can intervene. The young baboon has no chance. The troop reacts immediately but doesn't approach. They know lions aren't leopards. A lion's strength and speed on the ground don't allow that. A 130-kilogram lioness on open ground isn't an opponent the troop can effectively surround. They know this. But baboons don't forget. Research documents that this species can remember individuals of other species, especially those that have harmed the troop. The next day, Limpopo River, The troop comes to drink along their familiar route. Below the murky water, crocodiles wait for careless prey. In the troop, young ones typically drink at positions closest to shore. But riverbanks don't always allow ideal formation. A young baboon bends to drink. In an instant, the water erupts. No warning, no prior sound. A technique refined over millions of years. No chance for the young baboon. Nile crocodiles with bite force around 5,000 psi and reflexes under 0.1 seconds leave no gap. The troop remains at the water's edge. A few males just watch and roar. That behavior doesn't change the outcome, but shows social structure doesn't easily dissolve after loss. Then they leave. Order is re-established in heavy silence. Ahead still lies grassland, where risk and opportunity always coexist. A week later, the lioness pride returns, bringing 2 cubs about 6 weeks old. When the mothers leave to hunt, the 2 lie beneath low tree cover. Baboons discover this before we realize, from the tree branches, the lion mothers have gone far. 2 lion cubs lie alone. What follows is neither pure predation nor defense. Researchers call it redirected accumulated aggression, a complex social response. A male baboon picks up the lion cub, not frantically, just carries it and gradually climbs higher. The cub is completely helpless in this situation. At that height, the lion cub cannot survive a fall. A 6-week-old skeletal system isn't strong enough to withstand impact from over 15 meters. The lion mother returns quickly, roaring beneath the canopy, but climbing isn't her capability. Vertical distance is an absolute limit. The male baboon looks down and releases his grip, a behavior documented in primate studies in South Africa as a form of redirected accumulated aggression. He leaves by another route, not looking back. The troop regroups and continues moving. No ceremony, only cold continuation. In nature, good and evil don't exist. Only strategies selected through evolution, shaped by social memory and survival pressure. Chakma the baboons still maintain large populations, but shrinking habitat and increasing urban conflict pose new challenges. When dusk falls, they climb the tallest acacia trees, choosing height as their shield. Tomorrow repeats, like every survival cycle. East African savanna. Dawn has just touched the earth. From an earth burrow at the base of an acacia tree, a snout emerges to probe the morning air. This is a land where every careless moment must be paid dearly. Lions, leopards, hyenas, crocodiles, all share the same living space. Not as large as buffalo, not as fast as antelope, no venomous fangs or sharp claws, but this species has existed on the African grasslands for over 800,000 years. This is a story about survival not based on absolute strength, but based on speed, instinct, and the right decisions in moments that decide everything. Warthogs are widely distributed throughout sub-Saharan Africa. Adult males weigh from 60 to 150 kilograms. Shoulder height, about 75 centimeters. The name warthog comes from the protruding tissue masses on the face. Males have 4 warts, females have 2. Their function is to protect the face when fighting with their own kind. Male warthog tusks can reach up to 60 centimeters long, curved upward and mainly used for fighting or defense. An accurate strike is enough to tear into a lion. Warthogs run at maximum about 50 kilometers per hour. Not enough to escape lions or leopards on a straight path, but enough to create distance when reacting in time. The tail standing straight when running is a visual signal for young to track the mother's direction of movement in tall grass. A simple but effective signal. Warthogs are omnivorous, grass, tubers, tree roots, occasionally animal carcasses. They often kneel on their front legs to graze close to the ground, their most recognizable characteristic posture. Warthog knees have thick skin formed from continuous daily kneeling. This is evolutionary adaptation, reflecting how this species adjusts its body to its lifestyle. Warthogs live in small groups of 4 to 16 individuals, mainly females and young. Adult males usually live solitary outside breeding season. Earth burrows are the center of warthog life. They don't dig their own, but occupy burrows left by aardvarks or honey badgers. This is where they sleep, give birth, and escape. Warthogs enter burrows by backing in tail first, tusks facing outward from the burrow entrance. Any predator that sticks its head in will meet the tusks first. Morning. A warthog group moves to a grazing area 500 meters from the burrow. The male goes first, head low, nose working continuously. This is an information scanning posture. 150 meters away, a leopard lies in ambush in tall grass. It has been tracking the warthog group since before they left the burrow, and it's waiting for one to separate from the group. A young warthog separates a few meters following a cluster of tubers near a low bush. The leopard knows this. In an instant, its body shifts from rest to ready to sprint. The lead male warthog lifts its head. Some scent in the grass. Not clear, but enough to trigger reflexes. It immediately emits a short call. The leopard lunges, but the young has already made it back to the group. The male warthog turns to face the leopard directly, tusks pointing forward. No intention to flee. The leopard stops at a distance of 3 meters. A 50-kilogram leopard facing a 100-kilogram male warthog with 50-centimeter tusk. The male warthog holds confrontational posture, not attacking, not retreating. This is nature's clearest message. Attack me, and you will pay the price. The leopard circles to one side. The warthog rotates accordingly. The leopard circles to the other side. The warthog rotates again. After 2 minutes, the leopard leaves to find less risky prey. Not every confrontation is favorable. When alone and attacked suddenly from behind, warthogs don't have enough time to turn and face. This is why warthogs rarely move alone. This species' strength lies in the group. Many eyes, many noses, many ears, continuously supplementing each other. Evening descends. The threat changes. Lions are more active when the sun mellows. 3 lionesses are moving through the area where the warthog group is foraging. 1 leopard can be repelled by warthog tusks, but 3 coordinated lionesses are a threat where direct confrontation is not a wise choice. The male warthog emits a short call. The group turns toward the burrow, 400 meters from the burrow, far enough that lions can catch up if they start now. Lions chase the running warthog group on a straight path. Lionesses are faster, but warthogs know the terrain and know the destination. The young warthog is slower. A lioness breaks off, targeting it. The mother warthog recognizes immediately. She changes trajectory, lunging between the lioness and the young. The mother warthog's charge doesn't hit the lion, but is enough to break the attack trajectory. The lion loses momentum and veers off course. The young continues running to the burrow. The young enters the burrow first. Mother warthog quickly backs in after, tusks facing outward. Lions stop before the burrow entrance, cannot approach. The rest of the lion pride arrives. The entire pride surrounds the burrow entrance, but the entrance is small, tusks facing outward. No lion wants to try approaching. After 20 minutes, the lion pride leaves. The earth burrow has done what speed and strength cannot do alone. This is why warthogs never forage too far from burrows. Dusk, spotted hyenas begin patrol. Their sense of smell can detect warthog burrow scent from over a kilometer, and they know where the burrows are. Hyenas don't enter burrows. They stand waiting outside. Blockade tactics. Wait all night if needed. Warthogs must come out before dawn to forage. Warthogs in the burrow don't sleep. They hear the hyenas outside and wait. A psychological battle where whichever side is more patient will have the advantage. Near dawn, hyenas are still around the warthog burrow. They persistently wait for warthogs to come out. Warthogs slowly stick their heads out. Dawn begins. Hyenas perform poorly in daylight. This is the moment warthogs have waited all night for. Light is their ally. The male warthog comes out first, fast, and runs straight, no hesitation. While the last hyena hasn't left yet. Speed and decisiveness are everything. Hyenas give chase, but it's already light, and the male warthog is running toward open grassland, where the lion pride from last night is no longer there. African warthogs currently number in the millions throughout sub-Saharan Africa, not on the endangered list. Clear proof of the effectiveness of this species' survival strategy. Warthogs play an important ecological role. Their digging creates earth holes for many smaller species. Their dung disperses seeds throughout the grasslands. The relationship between warthogs and oxpecker birds is typical symbiosis. Birds eat ticks and parasites on warthog skin. In return, warthogs receive early warning signals when birds suddenly fly up. Afternoon. The warthog group is grazing normally. The flock of oxpeckers suddenly flies up. The male warthog reacts immediately without needing to hear or smell more. Each species contributes what the other lacks. This isn't friendship. This is an effective biological transaction maintained through millions of years of evolution. Today ends like every day. The warthog group returns to the burrow before sunset. Backs and tail first, tusks facing outward, ready for the long night ahead. Warthogs aren't the strongest, fastest, or largest species, but they know which burrow is theirs, know when to run, know when to stand their ground. And 800,000 years on the land with the most predators on the planet is the clearest evidence that sometimes wisdom endures longer than strength. Mara River, Kenya. The planet's greatest migration is underway. Millions of wildebeest pour southward along murky river channels. The Serengeti stretches over 30,000 square kilometers. This is one of the world's most intact ecosystems, where every species has its own domain. Across these vast grasslands, lions dominate. They control territory, control prey, control the movement patterns of the entire ecosystem. But there's a boundary where even lions stop, a boundary not drawn by humans or territory, but drawn by fear. African lion, the largest terrestrial predator on the dark continent, weighing 180 to 225 kilograms, maximum speed 80 kilometers per hour. On land, that body is the perfect weapon. Speed, power, terrain control, all coordinated in ways evolution has refined over millions of years. But that very body becomes a burden when in contact with water. Large mass depletes energy. The male's thick mane absorbs water, weighing him down further. Speed, the lion's most important weapon, becomes nearly useless in aquatic environments. On land, they're hunters. In water, they become targets. The rivers of the Serengeti and Mara, water murky year-round. Lions can't see the depth or current below, can't see what's waiting beneath the surface. For a predator, losing the ability to see the environment means losing control. And losing control is the most dangerous state possible. Below that surface lies the Nile crocodile, a reptile surviving since dinosaur times, virtually unchanged in 200 million years. The Nile crocodile's bite force reaches about 5,000 psi, stronger than any land vertebrate. One bite is enough to hold prey, weighing hundreds of kilograms. The crocodile's attack technique, the death roll. After the jaws clamp the prey, The crocodile spins its entire body at extreme speed to break balance and drag it deep. In water, lions can't twist fast enough to counter, can't grip surfaces firmly enough to resist, and can't maintain fighting capability for long. On shore, an adult lion can take down a small crocodile with force and speed. But in water, this isn't a battle of strength. This is a battle of terrain. During migration season, these encounters happen daily. When wildebeest herds pour into the river, lions follow close behind, and crocodiles wait below. Lions typically approach prey near the water's edge. In moments focused on prey, they may not notice what's moving beneath the river's surface. Just 1 second's delay can determine the outcome. A crocodile's launch from underwater happens faster than any shore prey's evasion reflex. When an entire pride must cross the river, preparation can take hours. Males typically observe longest, moving along the bank, finding the shallowest point. Cubs observe the adults. This is how knowledge of danger is passed down in lion prides, not through innate instinct. In behavioral biology, this is called learned fear. Unlike innate instinct, this is knowledge formed through experience and observation. A lion that once witnessed a companion dragged down will never approach the water's edge the same way. That experience is carved deep into behavior. Before entering water, lions perform a sequence of behaviors. They listen to water sounds, touch lightly with front paws, observe any movement on the surface. This isn't mere hesitation. This is systematic risk assessment, a survival skill refined over generations, living beside crocodile-inhabited rivers. When pressure is great enough, lions are forced to cross. Drought drains water sources on land. Prey has moved to the other shore. No other choice remains. Males go first, not because they're braver, but because in lion pride's social structure, males typically lead when crossing fixed danger points. In water, lions can swim but slowly. Each passing second is a second exposed in an environment they can't control. Eyes never leave the water surface. Ears remain constantly vigilant. Below, crocodiles observe. They don't always attack, but their presence is always there. And lions know this. When crocodiles attack during river crossings, the situation becomes extremely dangerous within seconds. Jaws clamping onto legs or rear body sections are the most common scenarios. Lionesses can react instantly when cubs are threatened at the water's edge. In those moments, protective instinct overrides all risk assessment. Onshore, lionesses can threaten and attack small crocodiles. This is a rare situation, but documented in many Serengeti field studies. Solitary lions face rivers differently. No pride to share risk, no other males to lead. Nomadic solitary males often accept higher risk levels. The need to find new territory, find a new pride, is strong enough to push them beyond normal limits. In water, he doesn't roar, makes no noise, all energy focused on swimming and observing. This is abnormal behavior for a species like lions. Lions don't fear water because they're weak. They're cautious with water because they understand their limits. This is an important distinction in reading animal behavior. On land, lions control the hunt, decide when to attack, from which direction, at what speed. In water, all those reflexes are slowed by the water. But at the boundary between land and water, these two species meet in a space neither completely masters. There is no absolute king in the ecosystem. Each species dominates in its own environment, and the boundary between environments is where these orders are tested daily. Each migration season, thousands of river crossings occur at the Mara River. Most succeed, some end differently. This is the inevitable part of the ecological cycle. Lions understand this in their own way, not through language or abstract thought, but through memory of what they've witnessed at the riverbank. An old lion, having survived many migration seasons, always slows before the water's edge. This is instinct forged from survival memory. In nature, caution isn't weakness. It's the mark of survival memory. Individuals who live long understand the value of avoiding danger. The Mara River still flows. Migration season continues. Crocodiles still wait beneath murky water, and lions still stand on the bank, observing, assessing, deciding. This is an ancient boundary, carved deep through millions of years of evolution. Not strength, but environment defines the predator's limits. Lions don't fear the river because they're experienced enough hunters to know that environment determines the victor, not strength alone. On African land, lions dominate. Below the surface of great rivers, crocodiles dominate. And at the boundary between those two worlds, no species is invincible. Today, both species face pressure from habitat loss and conflict with humans. The survival of both is tied to ecosystem integrity. The Mara River still flows, each rainy season, each dry season, witnessing migrations, river crossings, boundaries being tested. It is dawn on an African riverbank. The water has not yet turned blue. A thin layer of mist clings low to the surface, refusing to disappear. Everything is waiting for the day to begin. A gray heron stands motionless on a rock near the shore, not hunting, not moving, just standing there, as if it understands that mornings here demand silence. Nearby, an antelope drinks, small sips, head down, then up again, scanning its surroundings in a rhythm repeated thousands of times before. This is a place every animal must come to, and every one of them must pay some kind of price for a drink. That price is never announced in advance. Lions, the dominant predators of the African savanna. Strength, speed, coordinated hunting. On land, few animals can confront them directly and come out on top. This pride has several cubs under 3 months old. At this age, their brains are still in the phase of exploration, even toward things their instincts have not yet learned to name. The lioness stops about 5 meters from the water's edge. She looks left, then right, then along the surface. It is a habit, but not a complete safety check. Beneath the water, another sensory system is already at work. Along the crocodile's jaws and body are thousands of pressure receptors. It knew the lions were coming before it ever saw them. The Nile crocodile, a reptile that existed long before the dinosaurs disappeared. And it still hunts this way because it has never needed to change. A crocodile does not hunt in the usual sense. It does not chase. It does not surround. It does not need a complicated plan. It simply waits until the target brings itself within reach. The lioness scans the area one more time. The surface is calm, no unusual sound. She allows the pride to approach and drink. It is the most reasonable decision she can make with the information she has. And that is exactly the problem. This is a problem with no perfect answer. The pride needs water to survive the day. That need cannot be postponed. But every trip to the riverbank means accepting a risk that can never be fully controlled. The smallest cub drifts away. It moves closer to the water's edge than the others. The distance from its mother grows, 10 meters, 12, 15. No one notices. The lioness is splitting her attention between the others and her own need to drink. One animal cannot monitor 4 directions with equal precision at the same time. The bend in the river and the sudden drop near the bank erase the usual warning signs. Lions have no way of reading the underwater terrain, so their ability to judge danger is limited. The early morning light gives the crocodile an even greater ambush advantage. And when several disadvantages stack together, the cub's chances of becoming prey rise sharply. The cub edges closer, crossing into the danger zone. Beneath the surface, the crocodile adjusts its posture without creating a ripple. This is the moment when 2 worlds are separated by only a thin layer of water. On one side, curiosity and exploration. On the other, a waiting strategy refined over millions of years. The attack comes without warning. The crocodile's jaws clamp shut in less than half a second, with enough force to lock onto the cub's forelimb instantly. The lioness reacts at once, covering roughly 15 meters in under 2 seconds, her roar tearing across the riverbank. But by then, the cub is already being dragged into the water. The crocodile does not need to kill on land. It only needs to pull the prey into the water. Once there, every advantage shifts completely, and the lioness knows that. She charges in up to her shoulders, slamming at the surface. But there is nothing there, only water. And beneath it, her cub is being pulled in a direction she cannot follow. She stops. No more roaring. She simply stands there, shoulder deep in a river that is not hers, staring into the surface with helpless eyes. Below, the crocodile has not yet dragged the cub into safe depth. The cub is still struggling, not from conscious decision, but from the body's raw mechanical reflex against the pull. The lioness manages to bite the crocodile's tail, the only part still within reach. The bite is not enough to injure it, but enough to throw it off for a second. The crocodile responds with a death roll, spinning violently. The lioness is forced to let go, but the twisting changes the angle of the bite, and in that brief instant, the cub slips free. The lioness drags the cub back onto the bank. She does not stop. She does not look back. She retreats farther and farther from the edge until her paws are fully on dry ground. The riverbank is where two worlds touch. The crocodile does not pursue. On land, the game has changed. It knows its limits, just as the lions know theirs. The cub is breathing hard. The lioness begins licking the wound slowly, over and over again. Beneath the surface, the crocodile has already returned to its old position. Motionless, almost invisible. Nothing about it suggests failure. To a crocodile, waiting is never wasted. The entire attack lasted less than 15 seconds. But that was more than enough to leave a mark. Not in words, but in sensation, in instinct, in reflex. In the days that follow, the pride still has to return to the river, but not at dawn, and not so close to the edge. This is how knowledge passes through generations in the wild. Not through teaching, but through pain severe enough for the body to remember longer than any lesson ever could. The mistake that morning did not belong to the cub. It did not have enough information to understand what it was doing wrong. The mistake belonged to the moment of judgment, to 4 stacked disadvantages. A Nile crocodile can go a very long time without food. Waiting is not a choice for it. It is survival. Every time the lions return to the riverbank, to the crocodile, it is simply another opportunity. Lion cubs in the wild rarely survive their first year. Every injury lowers those odds. This cub may recover if infection does not set in. When drought lasts too long, species are forced to gather around the few water sources that remain. The distance between predator and prey shrinks, and encounters like this one become far more common. The striking thing is, neither side is wrong. The crocodile is only doing what it has always done. The lioness is too. In nature, there is no right or wrong, only outcomes. These two species have coexisted along Africa's rivers for millions of years, not because of peace, but because both sides understand the boundary. The lioness does not know exactly where she went wrong. She only knows what happened. And in this world, the result is the only lesson that lasts. The injured cub carries a lesson today that cannot be taught in safety. It may not understand it yet, but its body already remembers. And in the wild, that is enough. Mistake becomes data. Danger becomes knowledge. And that knowledge, if the cub survives long enough to use it, may become a lifelong survival advantage. The burden is not strength. It is responsibility. The lioness does not live only for herself. Every choice she makes affects her young. Survival is not about always winning. It is a chain of choices, mostly right, sometimes wrong. And one mistake at the wrong moment can change everything. The riverbank does not change after the pride leaves. The crocodile is still there. The water is flat again. Everything returns to normal, as if nothing ever happened. Tomorrow, the lions will come back, but not quite the same as today. The lioness will stand farther away, choose a different moment, keep the cubs closer, not because she has planned it, but because she remembers in her own way. And when dusk falls, the river will keep flowing as it always does. It holds no memory. Only the creatures who live beside it must remember, if they want to survive. Across the vast African savannas, life seems to stretch endlessly. This is the grand stage for one of the most spectacular migrations on Earth. Water is the lifeblood of the plains, drawing countless creatures to quench their thirst. But beneath the cool surface lurk unseen dangers. The hippopotamus, a giant often mistaken for being gentle, is in fact one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Its wide-open mouth is not a sign of fatigue. It's a warning, a display of power. Those enormous canines, reaching up to 50 centimeters long, are deadly weapons, always ready to defend its territory. Despite weighing over 1.5 tons, hippos move gracefully underwater. In fact, they don't swim. They walk or even gallop along the riverbed in a remarkable way. And when the dry season arrives, the Great Migration begins. Millions of wildebeest and zebras embark on their epic journey, following the rains in search of greener pastures. Zebras, with their iconic black and white stripes, aren't just beautifully patterned. Studies suggest their stripes confuse predators and even repel tsetse flies. Hippos have extremely sensitive skin. They secrete a reddish fluid that acts as a natural sunscreen and antibacterial coating, often mistaken for blood sweat. The migration forces them to face their greatest challenge, the rivers. Here, life and death are separated by mere seconds, and predators lie in wait. The zebras hesitate at the riverbank. Instinct warns them of danger, yet the thirst of the journey and pressure from the herd push them forward. Suddenly, a male hippo attacks. It's not hunting, it's defending its territory with brutal force. Any intruder will face its wrath. With jaws capable of opening nearly 180 degrees and a bite strong enough to crush a small boat, the unfortunate zebra has no chance to escape. Chaos erupts. The desperate cries of the herd and the splashing of water create a tragic scene. Nature's judgment is always harsh. The Nile crocodiles, ancient predators, join the hunt. They wait patiently, needing only a single moment of weakness to strike. After the storm, the river returns to its calm. The sunset paints the sky in shades of orange, hiding the tragedies that just unfolded beneath the surface. But peace never lasts. Beneath the water, battles for dominance among hippos continue, ready to explode at any moment. At night, hippos emerge from the river to graze. Each night, they can travel up to 10 kilometers and consume around 40 kilograms of vegetation, a massive diet for their colossal bodies. On land, another predator reigns supreme: the lion, a symbol of strength and power. It is the only truly social cat, living and hunting in organized prides. The lionesses do most of the hunting. Their amber eyes stay sharp, scanning the grasslands for potential prey. But even apex predators face extraordinary challenges. A hippo that strays too far from the water becomes an accidental target. Attacking a full-grown hippo is a perilous act. Its thick hide, immense bulk, and crushing jaws can easily kill a lion. Yet the dominant male lion, with strength and experience, manages to bring down the massive beast. It's a grand feast enough to sustain the pride for days. The smell of blood attracts opportunists. A sly jackal lingers nearby, hoping to snatch a scrap of meat when the lions aren't looking. Meanwhile, the migration continues. Thousands of lives move onward, preparing once more to face the deadly rivers and endless cycle of survival. A crocodile seizes its chance. With a terrifying bite and its signature death roll, it drags a wildebeest beneath the surface, ending its struggle in an instant. The survivors press forward. There's no time to mourn the fallen. That is the unforgiving law of this great journey. Once again, the hippos show their aggression. They charge at the crocodiles not to feed, but to assert their dominance as the true masters of the water. Having crossed the river, the wildebeest continue their endless trek. They have escaped death today, but new challenges await tomorrow. From apex predators to unpredictable giants, every creature on the African savanna plays a role in the grand symphony of life and death. Dawn breaks over the savanna, golden light heralding another harsh day of survival. This is the stage for some of the most notorious predators on Earth. The lion, an emblem of power, lives in prides to amplify its strength. Lionesses are the main hunters, skillfully coordinating in group hunts. Their prey is often zebras or antelopes, fast, vigilant runners. The lion's true power lies in teamwork, encircling and closing in. Yet success does not always come. Prey can sometimes fight back fiercely. The African buffalo is a herbivore, but an extremely dangerous one. The leopard, a solitary hunter, relies on stealth and bursts of speed. With its superb climbing ability, it drags kills into trees to protect them from thieves. Leopards often target smaller prey: Thompson's gazelles, monkeys, hares. But danger is never far. Hyenas appear, ready to steal the prize. Hyenas, often underestimated, are in fact persistent hunters. Hunting in packs with great coordination, they can bring down buffalo or zebra. Their bite is the strongest among land carnivores. Yet they often clash with lions over carcasses. The African wild dog, holders of the highest hunting success rate. Endurance and teamwork make them the long-distance warriors of the plains. Once a prey is isolated, the pack strikes, swift and precise. Iron discipline helps wild dogs endure in a land full of enemies. At night, when darkness covers the grassland, hyenas become the rulers. In the dry season, competition grows fiercer as water sources dwindle. Adult elephants can drive away any predator. But calves are vulnerable targets, especially when straying from the herd. Zebras, disciplined herds with stripes that confuse predators. They often migrate alongside wildebeest, creating the Great Migration. River crossings are the deadliest moments. Giant crocodiles wait in ambush. Every year, Hundreds of thousands perish in this fateful journey. On the plains, predators battle not only prey, but also one another. There is no absolute ruler. Every species must fight to survive. The African grasslands, a ruthless battlefield where only those who adapt will endure. A blazing dawn stretches across the East African savanna. Both baboons and leopards begin another day full of challenges. The baboon troop awakens. They huddle together, groom each other, and let out their distinctive calls, a ritual of social bonding. A troop can number over 100 individuals with a strict social order. The alpha male dominates, protecting and controlling the females. Their diet is diverse: grass, roots, seeds, insects, and even fresh meat when the chance arises. This omnivorous nature makes them superbly adaptable. But baboon life is not just about food. Young males constantly challenge the leader in their struggle for power. In the distance, a leopard prowls. This solitary hunter is a master of agility and lightning-fast ambushes. Its beautiful rosette-patterned coat is not only a signature trait, but also perfect camouflage in the dappled light of the woodland. Unlike lions, leopards usually hunt at night or in the early morning. They rely on absolute surprise to kill their prey in seconds. Yet leopards are not invincible. Every wound, every failed hunt could cost them their lives. As the sun climbs higher, the baboon troop begins its foraging journey. Infants stay in the middle, protected by the adults. A sharp call pierces the air. It is a warning. Something is moving in the bushes. The leopard. It hides, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. For the leopard, a baboon infant is an ideal target. Small, weak, and easier to separate from the troop. But baboons are no easy prey. They have developed an extremely effective collective alarm system that prepares the troop for defense. The alpha male steps forward. His fur bristles, teeth bared, and he roars, a clear warning. The leopard advances slowly. Each step is light as air, its golden eyes glinting in the shadows. In an instant, the leopard bursts into full speed. A young baboon almost falls into its jaws, but the mother snatches it back just in time as the males rush forward to counterattack. Amid the chaos, an adult baboon is brought down by the leopard with a single lethal bite. After a short rest, it drags the kill up into a tree to feast before unwanted guests arrive. The infant clings tightly to its mother. The loss from this battle will be etched into the memory of the entire troop. Yet life must go on. Constant vigilance is the rule, even in the calmest moments. After feeding to its fill, the leopard leisurely strolls across the savanna, seeking waterholes to quench its thirst. Nature favors no one. The survivor is the one who adapts, who endures to the very end. And as night falls, both species prepare for the next cycle of survival, the never-ending struggle on the savanna. Here, each dawn begins a new game of life and death, where no one can afford to be careless. The baboon troop moves on. Unity is their greatest weapon against predators. Yet in another confrontation, the balance of power can shift in astonishing ways. The troop spreads across the path, confident in their overwhelming numbers. But they do not notice a leopard lies in ambush at the roadside. Exploiting surprise, the leopard charges. Chaos erupts as the baboons scatter in panic. Then, an extraordinary scene unfolds. Instead of fleeing, the entire troop turns back to confront the predator. This is collective defense. The largest and bravest males lead the counterattack. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, the solitary leopard quickly realizes its mistake. On this unforgiving savanna, the lesson is clear. Unity is the ultimate weapon for survival.